Guys, please charge your phones as soon as possible. Looks like they've decided to cut our power everywhere. Guys, we're
being bombed. Yeah, we're really being bombed, fuck.
Fuck, look, do you see it up there in the clouds? Haha, not you? Oh shit.
Lightning, friends. 500,000 people are without power. A total blackout in the occupied territory of Donetsk region.
2340, the whole city is without power.
Tonight, after the strike on the Zuyevkaya and Starobeshevo thermal power plants, 500,000 residents were left without electricity. The occupation authorities in the occupied Donetsk region declared a state of emergency due to the strikes on the Zuyevkaya and Starobeshevo thermal power plants. Ukrainian FPV-2 drones simply knocked out 2 key stations. And this is just the beginning. Today there was a series of powerful strikes.
Guys, we're being bombed. We're being bombed, damn it.
Shit. There, do you see it in the clouds?
The General Staff officially stated that military targets in Russia were hit with ATACMS missiles. The explosion of the main gas pipeline near Omsk is burning phenomenally. An attack on the Sakskaya CHP in Crimea, a fire at the Veshkaima substation in the Ulyanovsk region, the CHP in Oriol was blown up, as well as the sabotage of a railway in Poland, for which Russia is being blamed.
An encounter with an explosion. A short distance away from MAK, which was likely aimed at the train exhibition on the Warsaw-Damblin route.
Last night, a whole wave of strikes and sabotage swept across Russia and the occupied territories. Donetsk region occupied territory is in darkness.
.2340. At this time, the entire city is completely without power.
Omsk is engulfed in a fiery gas blaze. Crimea was hit with a new attack on the thermal power plant, and in Poland, the Russians blew up a railway. And of course, the trail leads back to Russia. Friends, it's November 19th. Let's break everything down step by step. Friends, please like this video and let us know in the comments where you're watching us from. And a few words of support for the armed forces of Ukraine. Let's get started. 500,000 residents in the so-called DNR are without electricity. A strike on the Bum thermal power plant. At night, Ukrainian FBI Firepoint drones attacked the Zuyevkaya and Starobeshevo thermal power plants. Transformers, power lines, and boilers were damaged. The transformers of the second boiler were hit and are completely out of commission. The terrorist Pushilin admitted that dozens of settlements in Donetsk are in darkness. And this is one of the largest blackouts in the occupied territories of the so-called DNR. Let us emphasize right away, the Russians use these facilities for military logistics and turn local residents into hostages. And now the most interesting news, a massive explosion on a gas pipeline near Omsk, a nuclear mushroom cloud over the city. In Rostovka near Omsk, a main gas pipeline exploded during the night. A pillar of fire rose dozens of meters into the air. Locals report the smell of gas. There is panic all around. This, of course, is the work of those who care. A total act of sabotage, a fire. Dozens of fire crews work to extinguish it. Not drones, but the scene is infernal. It's just perfect for anxiety-inducing news blogs. A railway was blown up in Poland. The trail leads to Russia. Reuters reports, citing intelligence agencies, that the railway sabotage in Poland is the work of Russians. The Minister of Defense stated directly that the trail leads east. This is part of Russia's hybrid war against Poland, NATO, and Europe. This is not just sabotage, it's an escalation. The Saki thermal power plant in Crimea has been damaged. Ascent Analytics has obtained fresh satellite images. Serious destruction of the main building of the Saki power plant is visible. Strikes were carried out. On November 16th, part of the equipment was put out of operation. This is a blow to the entire power system of Western Crimea. There have been a number of blackouts there. And the substation in Oriol is on fire as well. The Veshkaima substation in Ulyanovsk region is on fire after an attack by Ukrainian drones. 900 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, the 500 kilowatt Veshkaima substation is burning. The substation is very old, dating back to 1956, but it is important. It connects the power systems of the Urals and the center. Strikes on thermal power plants in the regions that form a ring around Moscow are our second stage of working with Russia's power system. At this point, we are trying to ensure that Moscow experiences a total blackout. That's why, by tightening the ring around Russia, we are regularly attacking all the thermal power plants near Moscow. Strikes on military targets in the Belgorod region, large-scale explosions, and air defense systems were active there. There was panic in local chats, the sounds of explosions, air defense firing at Ukrainian armed drones, the destruction of a major military facility, and of course, enemy personnel. And in the center of Moscow, a large-scale emergency situation. The Cathedral of Christ the Savior is on fire. A thick column of smoke is covering the area. A luxury residential complex nearby has also caught fire. On Somonovsky Drive, workers found themselves trapped by flames at a height. Firefighters simply couldn't get up in time. Meanwhile, a series of new emergencies is unfolding across Russia. In the Kursk region, the Zinkum plant, which supplies materials for the Russian military sector, is on fire. At the same time, occupied Donetsk is plunging into total darkness. The Chaikina substation, 330 kilowatts, has been blown up. There is no electricity throughout the entire occupied part of Donetsk region. In Makivka, Sinovata Chast, Horlivka, and Nakivo, fires can be seen over the cities. Russia is burning, the occupied territories are plunging into darkness, infrastructure is collapsing, Europe is recording acts of sabotage, and the Kremlin is in a panic, trying to put out fires on all fronts at once. We continue to monitor the strikes, the technologies, and the consequences for the war. As soon as we have new information, we'll definitely go live, but for now, take a look at a top-notch breakdown of Russian propaganda.
No stories today.
Will be told very soon.
So what will happen? Will we win, Gennady Andreevich? Don't take this seriously. We took Berlin 3 times, and if needed, we'll do it a 4th. Everything will be fine. No need, no need. I'm a peaceful person. I'm for peace. I, for one...
I'm in a state of mild rage. Yesterday, for some reason that was not immediately clear, there was a formal presentation event featuring a humanoid robot in our country. But before that, we already had such robots, we showed them off. There was Fedor, the robot, he did something, a manipulator. Listen, who are you trying to fool? Just explain, what are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? Why? The company was just recently founded, so they went ahead and showed it off. We're here, there, how great, the funding has already been allocated. I can't use foul language, but a lot was clear to everyone. And so, to the sound of rock music, they bring out the Russian humanoid idol onto the stage. 2 guys walk with him, and basically he just falls flat on his face. They pick him up also to music, and now 3 people lead him away. And most importantly, hurry up, let's get the materials out. This was being filmed? A film about how to steal government or private money? What was all this about? According to Idol's CEO Vladimir Vitukin, the localization level has already reached 77% with a target of 93%. The company LLC Idol was registered just a few months ago, but has already received support from a new technological coalition that includes leading Russian IT and robotics companies. A source in the market told Aria Novosti that Idol's value could range from 100 to 300 million rubles. I understand that Vladimir Vitukin will try to reach out to me to explain why it was done so early. Vladimir, why did you come out on stage? Why did you show this embarrassment? It's like a children's toy, and on top of that, someone somehow found out the price. What is your goal? To compromise the entire Russian IT and robotics industry? Meanwhile, the Kung Fu robot of Elon Musk, who encounters our idol, who just collapses at the mere sight of the famous American robot. And if all our scientific and technological developments are at the same level as in the West, then I have only one question. When will there be arrests and executions in our country?
You look at the people of Donbass and realize that these people don't need much. They are willing to make do with very little. They say, just give us water for at least 30 minutes a day. They are ready to endure all these hardships for one thing, for a great victory.
You think 30 minutes a day? No. They don't even ask for that. They get water twice a week, and that's not even the main thing. Our guys are bringing victory closer, and victory will be ours.
It's no wonder that people then run to Upper Lars kids. They have a feminine behavioral model. They grew up with their mother. That's normal. I don't even judge them. They saw a feminine model of behavior. So in a critical situation, they don't go to defend the country. They don't go to defend their family. They, how to say, hide. I'm done. We have to change this. Russia is in trouble. We're dying out.
And there aren't any more people, Vladimir Vladimirovich. That's why they're trying to bring in British troops to the border with Belarus and French troops to the south. And then we'll hit them and the coffins will start flying. If there's anything left to bury after tactical nuclear weapons, speaking of Vladimir Vladimirovich's prophetic qualities, do you understand today what will happen in 2030?
I think more or less it will be the same. I just understand what I would like to achieve as a result of all this confrontation. That is, it's clear that we can't achieve a military victory right now for a variety of reasons. But I would like our turn toward the global south not to look like an imitation. I would like us to actually establish the kinds of military strategic cooperation agreements that we concluded with North Korea, with others as well. With the Latin American regimes, the Red Belt, first and foremost, Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, all these countries are waiting for our help and are counting on it. And these are really the strongest cards in the game with Trump. Because how are we playing with Trump right now? We do something small and then look over at Trump. Trump, do you see, we have new agreements with Africa, we have something with India, right? And we glance over at him, right? But when we stop glancing at him and just turn our backs and start actually doing this, we bring in 25,000 Cubans for the war, set up 4 military bases in Venezuela, and then they'll come knocking on our door and say, wow, guys, let's make a deal. Well, obviously you guys are up to something. This sense of samurai-like cold-bloodedness, which, by the way, North Korea has, is exactly what Russia needs. At least to some extent. But
we are getting closer to this.
The universe is pushing us in that direction. We're trying our hardest to renegotiate. But no one is renegotiating with us. No one has met us halfway on anything, not even a single step. For the past 2 or 3 years, we've been telling everyone, let's do it this way, here and there. We'll give this back to you. We won't go there. We won't denazify here. We won't overthrow Zelensky. And also, we won't use really big bombs. But no one is willing to meet us halfway on any of this. So, once again, Trump said, no Donbass, no Zaporizhzhia, no Kherson, nothing like that. Just make peace somehow. So that Trump could get the Nobel Prize, and then, well, we'll see how things go from there. We'll see how it goes. That's it. Our well-intentioned proposals, which we genuinely believed would be effective and helpful, just hit a wall, encountering unexpected resistance along the way.
What is said about women? What are their roles? That is, these natural abilities are instilled in her by God, the Creator. To be a wife, to be a loving and caring mother, to be these qualities which are inherent and given by God shape her role as a wife, as a mother, and as a domestic fairy, the mistress of the house. And in wise books there is a term, it's figurative, to be a goddess. But we're not giving this any religious meaning at all. It's just the understanding, the idea that a woman can make another person, someone else, truly happy. A woman, in this context, shouldn't have to work, shouldn't be required to work, or feel obligated to work, according to this perspective.
The fate of Ukraine in this world doesn't concern anyone except Russia. And the Ukrainian people, only our Ukrainian people are already here. As for those who are still there, I don't care about them at all. Not a single one. There's not a single one left there. For me, there isn't a single one left there. Maybe 100 people are underground. They applauded the move to the Kursk province. They were happy about it. They continue to support the Nazis with their taxes. They will all be held accountable for this, except for those who realize it in time and repent, to leave Ukraine or make an effort to prove that they are against this Nazi regime. That's what they've done to the country. And now, are the Ukrainians who are dying at the front, who are just being ground into dust, is this what they're fighting for? So that their sisters, their wives, and their daughters are forced to work as prostitutes in German brothels, while their fathers, brothers, and sons are sent away to be slaughtered. Wiped off the face of the earth like Dnipropetrovsk and other cities. At the same time, we warn at first they don't understand, so we carry it out. Well, there's no other way, unfortunately. It's not good or bad, it's just the facts. How else can you fight a war? Only this way, only this way. Look, we can see what's happening right now. There is an active strike being carried out against our oil refineries. Is this Ukraine doing it? Of course not. Is it through Ukraine? It's the British and the same Americans who provide intelligence and relay it. I have only one question. Are we ever going to start paying attention to this? How many times have I raised the issue of air defense on this show? No, I get it. Apparently the brilliant idea is to turn off mobile internet and that will immediately stop everything from flying. I understand that the brilliant idea is to implement a carpet airspace closure, after which suddenly people can't fly during vacation season and are stuck in airports. That really helps a lot. I just don't understand what it helps with. Because all of this supposedly helps a lot, but the debris, as they now say, from downed drones causes such damage that you can't understand. Does anyone take responsibility for that? Are they being held accountable in our country? No, I think the Democrats would actually be better for us, because Trump is the kind of person who could make a very radical decision. And he will. And he will, definitely. And we'll see the hazel tree bloom. And finally, Poseidon Sarmat. What beauty. Why will you finally see how beautifully the storm petrel flies over the gray, flat sea? What? You're just like, you followed Obama's path. That's a vicious path. And why do you like to step not only on your own rake, but also on the rake that others step on? And not learn from them? Well, the scariest thing is that we men, we kind of go crazy, but women, they help with their own. Because for them, a man and a woman, it's like she's blown around like a leaf back and forth. Because she is meant to be part of a man, you see? She was taken from him and should join with him. She can't exist on her own, you understand? That's the point. That's why men are kind of foolish and scary. These foolish men are raised by single mothers who themselves matured at some point. You see how frightening that is? That's how it is. That's why Christianity is becoming, kind of sick, even frightening nowadays. And you wonder, what should we do? So for now, no one should be allowed into this part. It seems to me that if it's psychologically impossible for a woman, well, the doctor, the psychologist explains that this is a living life, and today others are in need of this living life. I want to tell you that in our country, for a number of reasons, there are now a lot of childless couples who cannot have a child. And the waiting list to adopt small, hungry children is very long. And I think that maybe here we should take a different approach. Yes, agree with the woman that she cannot, or in the future does not want this child, but this child can live in another family.
Friends, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and in the comments, let us know where you're watching from, your location, and leave a few words of support for Ukraine. It's very important to like the video, friends. Please, every like you give helps this video reach as many people as possible around the world. A like and a comment are a huge support for us. Support our content. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. Ukraine. Absolutely.